Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Color Commentary Podcast. I'm Ramiro Castro Jr., and this is my friend and co-host, Jmar. We're going to be talking about so much today. The big thing is I had a draft last week, so we're going to go through my rounds 1 through 7. We're going to talk about start sits, players that we're really excited about right at the top of the beginning of the season. We're going to do a general analysis of all the NFL breaking news that happened over the week. And then finally, which games we're going to be watching week 1. Jmar, are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy. Let's do this.
All right. So I'm in a league, 12-team, half-point PPR.
Ooh, nice.
You got it? And I drafted 6.
Oh, wow. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle, which I chose. I could have chosen up to 4th place. But I like that because people make choices ahead of you, and it makes it like a little bit easier. Like you can adapt and see what's coming, and then you can choose to go around early in terms of anyway, I like the middle. Not many people like the middle, but I don't know how you feel about draft order.
Do you worry about people stealing somebody that you're like, oh, I really want, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then somebody cock blocks you and you're like, oh, I wanted Jahmyr Gibbs.
It's a good point, but there's never just one player that I want. So I had my sheet, of each round, I had 2 or 3 people that I wanted, because if someone takes a player you really like, it could stun you. You're like, but I wanted Ashton Genty, and that's my whole year is watching him do awesome. Then you're like, you know what? I'm moving on, CeeDee Lamb, or I'm moving on, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I put players that I thought I would get, and if somebody awesome was left, for some reason Ja'Marr Chase wasn't drafted by the 6th pick, then of course I'm going to take Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see who you picked. My draft isn't until Sunday, so I'm still just racked with anticipation as to who I'm going to get on my team. Unlike you, I do have a hit list, and I definitely get disappointed if somebody picks the person who I'm like, man, this person's going to have a great year. I really want, insert NFL player here. And so I hope I get the guys who I envision
hope you get the guys.
myself. Yeah, I hope I get the guys that I envision will be on Ass Pizza this year.
It's a great name. All right, so right off the bat, my first pick was Justin Jefferson, and I was surprised he was going that late. But in this league, they like running back. So Justin Jefferson was there. I didn't expect to get him. I was super stoked. So then it comes back around.
Hit that gritty, bro.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson is I think people are worried about J.J. McCarthy and him having a connection, but I'm like, well, his talent will, I think, carry him through, right? People thought the same thing last year with Sam Darnold, who may not be as talented as J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings obviously didn't want to keep him or felt like J.J. McCarthy would be better. So full steam ahead with Justin Jefferson.
Well, great pick, man. I mean, obviously, I mean, he's one of the top WRs in football, certainly top 3, I would say. His talent's undeniable, and he has just one of the best touchdown dances that created a revolution, man. So he's gonna be around for a long time. And you're not in the keeper league, right?
No, it's a redraft.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's talk about your picks, and then we could talk about my keeper league, because there are a bunch of guys already off the board in my keeper league.
Yeah, I bet. So then round 2 came. I wanted Nico Collins. He wasn't there. I wanted perhaps a Amon-Ra or somebody else. I was definitely going wide out, like I said last week. I wanted 2 wideouts up top. And so it was between a couple. I ended up picking A.J. Brown. So I really like A.J. Brown. I think that, he was hurt a little bit last year, but his numbers per game were great. He's great per game. So as long as he doesn't get hurt again, I think he's going to do great. So to have both of those, I think A.J. Brown, you could arguably even say he's a first rounder. So I feel like I have a great start with those 2.
Let me ask you this: who are your other options at WR at that point besides AJ Brown?
I could have gotten Drake London,
Mm.
Brian Thomas Jr.,
Ooh.
Devontae Adams, Lad McConkey, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, and though, yeah, then it starts getting into like third, fourth rounders.
I mean, all those guys are just so talented. It's just, you just take a wild guess as to which one's going to have a better year, right? So, sure, AJ Brown is a fine second round pick for sure.
I think you're right. Like the first two rounds, it's you can mess it up. If you were to pick Christian McCaffrey like last year, you're gonna mess up your gear right away. Last year he was had a mysterious injury, and you can mess up the first two rounds. But like you said, a lot of these players are just awesome, and they're different flavors of awesome. And you kind of want to go with what you're excited about. Like I was really excited about AJ Brown. I was really excited about AJ Brown versus like a Drake London because of the quarterback. So like Drake
Mm,
London, Michael Penix Jr., though like did pretty good last year, is no Jalen Hurts. So like I was thinking,
sure.
who's a great quarterback to go with?
Reliability for sure. Yeah, Jalen Hurts has proven himself in this league, and I'm sure in every fantasy football league. So, yeah, wise decision, my friend. Hopefully it works out for you.
We'll see. Round three. So here was my dilemma. I had preached elite quarterback, and no one had picked up a quarterback yet. Like I was
Oh,
expecting round two, someone would pick up Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Nobody had picked up a quarterback yet. So I decided that I was going to be the first person to pick up a quarterback. So with my third pick, I picked Josh Allen. I found him to
smart
be
move.
super, super safe
Oh,
quarterback.
super safe. He's number one. Like he's expected to win MVP. Yeah, that's about as safe as you can get.
Yeah, so like I'm excited. These first three picks, right? I've got two great wideouts. I've got Josh Allen. I feel really good. And so setting up my fourth round, this is where the running backs really got thin for me in this
Mm.
league because everyone went like running back heavy. So then in my fourth round, I went with so this was my dilemma. My fourth round, I had two players staring at me. I had Ken Walker and Omari and Hampton.
Oh,
And I was like, what am I going to do? All preseason, I've been talking about how Ken Walker's going to be great. He's got a great system. People are doubting him. And then in comes Omari and Hampton, and Najee Harris's eye is broken. And I'm like, it was too tempting for me. Like the rookie, the young guy coming out of that system. So I picked Amari Hampton, and it made me super excited. Like I
I
went
w-
with excitement.
I would have done the same thing. I think Kenneth Walker has a probably a chance to even drop to the sixth round in certain drafts. So Omarion Hampton seems like he is ripe for the picking. You know, it's either you're gonna draft the superstar rookie Ashton Genty or Omarion Hampton, who's in the same division actually as Ashton Genty. So with Najee Harris, kind of, there's questions about him. Omarion Hampton is a risk, but it's a good pick.
It is a risk, and Najee's getting better. But then I'll go into it later. But Najee's become like incredibly cheap. Like you can get Najee for basically your last pick almost right now. So like I think it's a good backfield to invest in. So before Omari and Hampton, the running backs that went off the board mostly came off in the first round. So it was Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. These are all gone first round. Second round, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, Chase
Ooh,
Brown,
yeah.
James Cook, Bucky Irving, all went
Mm, yeah.
second round.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, those are pretty much the winners right there. Let me ask you this. Which running backs got taken between Omarion Hampton and Josh Allen for you? Just curious.
Yeah. So between Josh Allen, it was Kyron Williams,
Mm,
David
okay.
Montgomery,
Okay.
which is interesting. I wouldn't have picked David Montgomery that early, but that was it.
That was it.
That was it. So like, I was surprised to have the choice of Omarion Hampton because I thought he would have gone earlier. So I only really missed out on Kyron Williams, who I would have loved. I would have picked up Kyron Williams over Omarion Hampton.
There's a lot of speculation on Kyron Williams for some reason that he might not have a strong season. So I I do like the pick of Omarion Hampton at the fourth spot for you. It's a little bit of a gamble, right? But people are expecting this guy to have a big season, especially if Najee Harris doesn't produce for the Chargers right away.
A lot of people, a lot of the fantasy community, they think he's the second best. After Ashton Genty, it's Omarion Hampton. And so I felt like, with running backs, I think you can bet on rookies a lot easier than you can with rookie wideouts. I think they take time to click and develop, like we saw with Brian Thomas Jr. It was like later on in the year he started to click, and so I don't think no, I did not
And
pick up any rookie wideouts.
and the good thing is, like, you've got Josh Allen at your QB. You don't have to worry about picking a QB down the road, because they're gonna probably start going, off in the fourth and the fifth and the sixth rounds, all the good ones, and then you're not ending up with, like, I don't know, Brock Purdy or somebody, which, I mean, he's probably not a bad pick either, to be honest with you, because he's going to be hoisting the ball quite a bit, in my opinion. But you've got a solid MVP candidate in Josh Allen. So be interesting to see what your next pick was after Omarion Hampton.
So I needed another running back, and they started going off the board. So then after Omarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker gone, Chuba Hubbard gone, James Conner
Oh,
gone, Brees Hall
oh,
gone.
oh my gosh. It's like the ending of The Godfather. Like they're just taking them all out.
Murderers Row. I was like, any of them, I would
Oh,
have
yeah.
loved
That would have been a
any of them.
solid, I mean,
Yeah.
all solid RB2s right there. It's just like, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all my solid RB2s. So then it was between Aaron Jones, Trevarian Henderson, or
Ooh,
DeAndre Swift. And I
wow.
went with DeAndre Swift.
Yes, of course. You have to, man.
So I
As a
believe in
Bears
Ben
fan.
Johnson. If I'm the Bears bias in me, and I kind of hate it. Like I don't want to be the Bears, homer, but this year with that guy who was with Detroit before, I feel like he's going to do something special in Chicago this year.
Well, with all of those RBs off the board, like right away, I mean, that's kind of crazy that all those RBs are just gone, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, who the heck do I pick? I think DeAndre Swift is a solid RB2, so you should be fine.
Yeah, I felt like he has a solid role. There isn't anyone gunning for his job. I don't know about getting any backups yet. I don't know who's backing him up, if it's Roshan Johnson or Kyle Monange or whoever ends up emerging. I don't know. But like, it's his job. Omarion Hampton, it's either his job or he's the 1A and Najee will be the 1B. And so we'll just have to see. At this point, like at round 6, I'm thinking I should go back to wideouts, or if another running back comes up that I like, I'll pick that up. So at round 6, like after my pick in round 5, Calvin Ridley's gone, Aaron Jones is gone, DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, Khalil Shakir. Okay, is this the first tight end? Well, Travis Kelce, he's gone. RJ
Mm.
Harvey, Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, Matthew Golden, and then it's up to me. The people I have left are Isaiah Pacheco, Tony Pollard, Rashee Rice, Jalen Warren,
Mm,
Travis Hunter,
mm.
right? Maybe Mark Andrews. And so,
Rice, who just, by the way, got a 6-game suspension. So you're gonna tell me that you picked Rashi Rice, right?
no.
Okay, good.
I thought he was going to get suspended like in the middle of the season because he was supposed to have like a court date or something, right, with the NFL, like whatever they do, arbitration or something. And the player that was still available that I picked was Jerry Jeudy. So Jerry Judy's sitting there, and I I already like so when you're drafting, you want to make a list of players. So like I had him on my list for like round 6. Like players I would love to have was like Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, they were all gone already. Aaron Jones is gone. Tony Pollard's gone. And then I had Jerry Jeudy there because now that we know who the quarterback's going to be, we have Joe Flacco. I feel like it could be a similar situation that he had last time when he had Jameson Winston throwing to him and he was going off as the wideout one. So I took another risk, I think, in Jerry Jeudy, but it could pay off big. And that the other wideouts I can grab later, that could be great too. So Jerry Jeudy was my round 6 pick.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the WR1 in Cleveland, so I mean, you have a WR1 in a 6th round pick to complement AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's a pretty amazing receiving core right there.
That's what I was thinking is I wanted like a dedicated wideout one, the alpha of a team, rather than getting like a second fiddle, though I like some of them, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, that are great. If they didn't have like another alpha on their team, they are
Sure.
definitely the second place guy. I didn't want that. I wanted a clear alpha, so Jerry Jeudy was my person. Round 7 comes around, and this is where I wanted to get a tight end. Like at this point, I felt like it was worth investing in a tight end.
Of
Uh,
course.
and Brock Bowers was gone round 2. Trey McBride, the top of round 3. George Kittle, the bottom of round 3. So then nobody in round 4. Round 5, Sam Laporta.
Sure.
Sure. Round 6, Travis Kelce, who I really
Oh,
wanted at that range.
yeah, I think that's a smart pick if somebody picks up Kelsey in that range.
And then right before Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson both gone. And I'm like,
Oh, bummer.
no. And those were like the
See, this
guys that
is
would,
See, this is what I was talking about, man. This is the part where you're like, man, I wish I had, picked earlier. And I've had the luck where I've got my crosshairs set on one player and the person who picks right before me steals them. And I'm like, all right, it's all good.
so this is what I was talking about being stunned. So the tight end, now I'm stunned because I didn't think I wouldn't have like basically what I'm looking at next are like rookie tight ends or people. I don't know what to do. And who's sitting on top of the ADP? Somebody that tempted me, and it feels like an incredibly bad pick now. And I want to know what you think. I ended up getting Joe Mixon.
Oh, wow. So you ditched your tight end dreams
I
and
did.
you got Joe Mixon, who probably it's actually now a little bit clearer that he may not even play this season. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, man, it's all good. You wanted to bolster your running backs, and you were hoping that he'd be back in week 4, which is still a possibility,
Mhm.
or week 6 or week 8 or something. But he's somebody that you could just stash in your bench, or just get rid of him in free agency. But yeah, I think maybe your thinking was that some of the other tight ends that you felt were just not going to come off the board right away for round 8. You just felt like they were all probably like the same tier, right?
Yeah, like the Titans that were left for Evan Ingram, David Njoku,
Mm, yeah,
which are
decent.
both pretty good than Jake
Yeah,
Ferguson. So like at that point, I wasn't sure about this injury, and so I feel like this is already my first mistake coming into the year. The only thing that saves me is that I can stuff him in my IR spot and then hope he comes back. But
sure.
I got seduced by the ADP. Like I just saw how high he was, and that's where you really have to remember the news and like the injury reports. And so like in the heat of the moment, we only had 1 minute in between pick,
Ooh, that's tough. Yeah,
which
we get
was
two
tough.
minutes. Yeah, that's you're just like on the spot right
I was on
away.
the spot and I panicked a little bit and I made a mistake. So like I don't like that pick. I'm gonna have to recover from that pick. So that was my round 7 pick. We'll see. He may not even play. He may be the McCaffrey of 2025.
Yeah, I'm gonna send good energy your way that because Joe Mixon in my league, it's a keeper league. The guy who owns Joe Mixon like has kept him for like the past 3 seasons.
Mm.
But he didn't keep him this season. He opted to keep Tank Bigsby instead, which it's kind of a big drop off. But um, I mean, look, we don't know what's gonna happen. Houston's got an interesting scenario with their running backs, right? They got Damian Pierce, they got Nick Chubb. There's some interesting guys that could step up for them. So who knows if they don't step up, that once Joe Mixon is available, they'll just get him right back into the fold.
Mm. Yeah, like for now, he's gonna occupy my IR spot. I'm gonna wait and hold him until week 4, and if they say he's just out, then I'll drop him then. But I don't mind holding on for 4 weeks in my IR spot. And so for the rest of the rounds, I just name the running backs and wideouts I ended up taking. So for running backs, I ended up taking Quinshot Judkins and Najee Harris.
Okay.
Najee Harris I got in round 14. So I wanted basically the handcuff to Amari and Hampton. I wasn't sure about the news at the time, but like I felt like that was a great move for me to back up my one of my star running backs. For wideout, I ended up getting Roma Dunze, Michael Pittman
Oh,
Jr.
I think Roma Duze is a great pick.
That was in the 8th round. So I recovered 7th round, bad pick, went to Roma Dunze and then Michael Pittman Jr. right after that.
Mm.
I am really curious about him now that Daniel Jones is the quarterback. I think there will be some value there in the Colts wideout core. So uh, this league is unique in that there's a defensive player. So in round 10, and I ended up getting Roquan Smith. I don't know if you've ever had defensive players in your league, right?
No, we just draft defenses is what we
Mm-hmm.
do. Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I had to learn and kind of read up a little bit, but basically he's like the third or fourth best linebacker you could pick up. So I ended up picking up him. Got Jordan Addison. So I felt like Jordan
Oh,
Addison is
what?
the backup to Justin
Uh,
Jefferson.
yeah, sure.
Through
Yeah, and like it's almost kind of like another handcuffy kind of situation in a weird way. Yeah.
Yeah, if like Jefferson get hurt in week 4, Jordan Addison, he's back in. I finally got my tight end round 13. It was Colston Loveland. So Bears fan,
Oh,
I'm going for the rookie tight end. If it doesn't work out, I'll find another one on waivers. But I went with that.
that's the thing about tight end, right? You can, and tight ends are tough because sometimes they'll have like one bang up week, like somebody like Evan Engram or Isaiah Likely or oh my gosh, who am I thinking? Mike
Hunter
Gesicki.
Henry,
Yeah, kind of like Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. I mean, these guys will have like they'll light it up one week, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick this guy off the wire waiver because they just lit it up, and then you pick them up, and then they're just like, just MIA for like the next 3 weeks, and you're like, oh, I wish they would have produced like they did when I picked them up, but that's a gamble. So
mm,
Colson Loveland's. I mean, I think Tyler Warren, if he was available, would have also been a good pick too.
I had him. Like I was looking at him, and he in the ADP was like in the 140s, and I got enamored by Jordan Addison. I ended up picking him instead. So
Mm.
I don't mind it, that trade off, but we'll see if Colston Loveland isn't catching passes, then I might regret that. And then I finished with Jake Elliott as the kicker and the Bills defense
Oh, cool.
at the end. So that's my
Oh,
team. Not bad. I really liked the beginning. Round 7 was a doozy. I panicked because I didn't get the tight end I wanted, and I shouldn't have looked at the ADP at all because that threw me off. I had a plan, Jmar. I had it all here, and it threw me off. But that's the difference between a real draft and a mock draft. I did like 12 mock drafts, and it's very pedestrian because they're computers and they kind of pick the same way each time. And what might help is if you can tell it to, hey, favor running backs here or favor wideout in this league. And that might be better practice, but the human element, you can't beat it. So I got stunned and I had a minute and I panicked and I got Joe Mixon. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of the fun about, picking against other human beings, right? Is that everyone's different, everyone's got a different strategy. Some people are at different experience levels too. And even if you go by the book, like the way how, the experts do in their drafts, somebody could just really just throw your game off a little bit by picking somebody like, oh, this person picked, a defense in round 9, and then all of a sudden you start second guessing yourself, like, oh, should I pick a defense? I mean, like they just picked the number one defense that's supposed to come off the board, and that's just the kind of thing where you just kind of like, I think, you you just kind of get a little bit off track if a pick unnerves you a little bit. So,
the first defense off the board was round 8, and it was the
mm.
Chargers, which is
Oh.
interesting pick
Interesting pick.
to
That's a pretty
make.
it's pretty high for a defense too. Like, yeah, I don't know. Somebody must have, but and also defenses are kind of like tight ends in that way, right?
There's
Like
so
one
many.
one week, the Steelers will light it up, and then next week, it'll be, whoever's playing, the New Orleans Saints or whatever, So
100%. There was the Niners after that, Broncos. Those both went round 9. I knew right away that my defense was going to be somewhere at the end, and that I was going to stream anyway. So I moved Joe Mixon into my IR spot, and I ended up picking up the Arizona Cardinals because they're facing the Saints this week. So I'm streaming defenses. I'm holding on to the Bills defense because I'm hoping that they really redid that core, and they may be a great defense this year. Who knows?
mm,
Their first game's versus the Ravens, so I don't want to stump them week 1. I feel good about the Cardinals defense because the Saints are a mess, and I'm projected to win, but who knows? I think I recovered okay after the Joe Mixon mishap, but that's fantasy football. So like I've made my mistakes, but I feel good overall about what happened.
yeah, dude, you got a solid team, man. Enjoy the season. I'm looking forward to see how you do and how they progress and how you make some roster moves in there. Sounds like that there might be a possibility for some.
100%. Let's switch it to your keeper league. So you're drafting when? Like Saturday, Sunday, Monday? What is it?
Sunday, Sunday,
Sunday, Sunday,
yeah,
Sunday.
Sunday
An
afternoon,
action.
man. And like I said, we get together, we have like fried chicken and like cookies and chips and stuff. Like it's a thing. Um, but there's some guys that are just already off the board already because it's a keeper league. So, uh, Jamar Chase, Saquon, Bijan, CD, Jameer, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nakua, Devon Chain, Brock Bowers, they're all gone.
That's like
You know,
round 1 people almost. Brock
Ra-
Bowers 2.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to save your two best players, which, pretty much amounts to like what would be the first 2 rounds, right, of the
Yeah.
draft. So, I had an opportunity to either keep, like I mentioned last week, Jalen Hurts or Terry McLaurin, and Terry McLaurin's um contract was still up for debate. It was still up in the nebula, and he just signed, and his draft stock shot up. So he's somebody else that I've got my eye on now. But I ended up keeping Jalen Hurts, and I ended up keeping Jameer Gibbs as well too.
I think he'll go
So
second round in your league, Terry
he might,
McLaurin.
he might, yeah. So I'm. I loved Terry McLaurin last year. He was so good, and he really lit it up. So I'm tempted. I mean, I definitely need to take a wide out. That's something that's definitely in my crosshairs for sure. But I'm just gonna take the best whiteout available, and hopefully we'll see who that is. Whether it's Jackson Smith and Jigba, or or AJ Brown or
Is
Drake
Amon-Ra
London.
available?
He is not.
Okay, so but AJ Brown is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
definitely be, obviously I picked him already. AJ Brown, I think it'd be a great pickup to match with your team with a Jalen Hurts. Plus you get that double double
Yeah.
action,
Yeah.
you stack the quarterback and the wideout. I'd be super pumped for that.
But what if the Philly offense has a terrible all around day, and then your team suffers because of it?
It works both ways. So if the team sucks that week, then bam, bam, bam. Like I like to diversify. So I don't adhere to the stacking philosophy. I want to spread it around. So like I
Yeah.
purposefully picked players that weren't on the same team in order to avoid a mishap where they're shut out or something happens.
That plays into my philosophy too. I want to pick guys that I know that are on good teams, and I want to pick guys that have a chance to just get the ball right and score. So those are factors in my draft. I always have to just put myself in a mindset like, is this player on a good team? Does this player have a good coach? That's something that I think about as well too. If it's a weaker coach, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this person's going to get as much opportunities as maybe a WR2 on a good team. So all those things play out. It's all it's it's fantasy football, man. It's just fairy dust.
There's a million pieces of information, and that's why we
It,
love it because it's this impossible puzzle.
it's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy. Fairy dust, fairy dust.
How do you feel about David Montgomery? Do you want him because you have Jahmyr Gibbs? Is his price too high? Like, is that someone you're aiming for?
No, because I feel like he'll be off the board by the time I get to an RB2. And it's kind of like a weird handcuff, because then I'm once again like I start both of them at the same time. I'd have to start Gibbs and David Montgomery at the same time, and worry about them the worry about the run game getting shut down, right? Especially if the Lions fall early, and that Jared Goff is just going to be passing the whole game, right? So this the running game kind of gets shut off in the second half. So the answer is no. The simple answer is no.
I think he's too expensive. So, and then you ultimately you'd feel bad if you didn't start him. You'd have to start both Lions, and like you're saying, then you're running into the risk of like, what if the Lions get shut out or something happens? So, like, yeah, I hear you. I'm not as excited about him this year as I was last year. You could have started them both, and you would have had a great time with both Sonic and Knuckles. Or
Yeah,
is it Sonic and
absolutely.
Tails? What do they go by?
I
I think
forget, man.
I think Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles is it's like solid animated show
Just
right there.
like a solid 1-2. All
Rocky
right,
and Bullwinkle.
breaking news this week. We
Uh-oh.
had Adam Thielen today got
Yes.
traded to the Vikings. Old man Thielen, who I was aiming for if he were available because of his role in the Carolina Panthers. I am no longer interested in Adam Thielen because there are too many mouths to feed in the Vikings. Do you feel the same way, Jmar?
Oof. Yes, absolutely. But he's definitely a wonderful slot receiver, good WR3 if you want to get him and stash him, especially if they're going to abandon their run game. But I mean, they've got so much talent on that offense. I mean, it's like, I mean, not only do you have Aaron Jones, but you've got his backup. Gosh, the guy from Jordan Mason from the Niners last year. I mean, I mean, who's gonna get the ball? I mean, they're gonna. I think and Hawkinson, right? So I think they just want to spread the love in Viking land. We'll see how that bodes for Justin Jefferson, but good for the Vikings. They've got another weapon, and I think that leaves a lot of interesting possibilities for Carolina as well too. Because now you got Xavier Leggett and Teteroa McMillan. Just those are your WRs over there. I've got my eyes set on both of those guys for sure.
I would be way more hyped about those two than I was last week at my draft. I was like, Teddy McMillan, I don't know. With Adam Thielen there, he's a magnet for targets, but now it's open season. So I would be way more excited about the Carolina wideouts without Adam Thielen there now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that Carolina played pretty well at the end of last season, and they were definitely throwing the ball. So we'll see what happens. Tetaroa, they're saying that's exactly what Bryce Young needs. So we'll see if he'll have a breakout season like Puka Nakua or Brian Thomas Jr. We'll see.
Speaking of Bryans, Brian Robinson Jr.
Oh yeah,
gets traded and moved to the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, maybe a backup to Christian McCaffrey, maybe a
sure.
McCaffrey replacement if McCaffrey gets hurt. Are you interested in Brian Robinson? Are you looking for him in your drafts?
I had Brian Robinson in my team like the last two seasons when he was a commander, and he's great. He really lights it up, and he can have some really defining weeks that can be a difference maker in you getting a victory or not. I like him. Um, he was more of the RB1 in Commander World, even with Austin Eckler there, but he is definitely RB2 in San Francisco. But they picked him up for a reason, right? There's that insurance and that doubt that perhaps Christian McCaffrey isn't going to produce at the level that he once did. So I would stash him. I mean, if I had an opportunity to pick him up in a later round, I would do it. Sure.
I would probably start looking for Brian Robinson round 9, 10. When you feel like you have your core people set up and you're looking at bench players, that's when I would start to look into Brian Robinson, who would be like a high upside bench player for me, along with like a Trey Benson or a Zach Charbonnet, like people who are backing up running backs with injury histories who could go to the moon if the running back one got hurt. So like he's definitely at the top of the list of those like famous, like awesome backup running backs.
I I hope he has a good season. I mean, the big thing is that he did drop off from an RB1 status to an RB2 status. So I think he's going to go down in some draft value. But like I said, if he's around like 9, 10, 11, I would pick him up if it made sense for sure.
Yeah, all depends on your build. I'm trying to see if there's any other news.
Oh man, the Raiders, well, my team, go Vegas. Um, so their backup quarterback AOC, he got hurt, and so they picked up Kenny Pickett. And the same day, our our WR1, um, my man,
Jacoby
uh,
Myers.
Jacoby Myers, said he wanted to be traded, which is disastrous. Why would you want your WR1 like a week before the season's about to start say that he wants to be traded? It's just such a weird look and such a bad look, really. So there was a little bit of panic mode, I guess, in Raiderland, which nothing's ever normal in Raiderland, right? And so hours later, they signed our 2015 first round pick, Amari Cooper. So there's a lot of memes going up right now about how 2015 is looking like 2025 because all these
Ha-
players are returning back to the team that drafted them, which is pretty hysterical. But look, we got Amari Cooper, and he has I guess unfinished business that he wants to tend to because he felt like he could have performed better for us. So the Raiders have made it clear they don't want to trade Jacoby Myers. So I say just pay the man, just give him what he wants, make him happy, and then we have Geno Smith has more targets, right? It'd be a bang up offense if we had Amari Cooper, Jack Betch, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty. I mean, it's a pretty decent. He's got Raheem Mostert backing him up, and oh my gosh, I forget who else is backing him up, but some decent names there that can really make a difference and get the Raiders some points on offense.
Wasn't Amari Cooper retired? Did he come out of retirement?
He was a Bill. He was a Buffalo Bill. And then I think he was just a free agent, right? I think that that was kind of his deal, is that he just was floating in free agency, and they signed him to a 1-year deal. So I mean, look, is he going to be the same
Wait.
Amari Cooper that we had 10 years ago? No, but can he probably catch the ball still? I'm going to say yes. So we're just putting good energy into the cosmos.
I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good fit. I think it was smart. I ultimately think Jacoby Myers, that's a negotiation tactic. I think he wants money. It worked for my man, Terry McLaurin. They signed
Yes.
him. He got his money. Use your leverage when you have it. This is a maximum leverage in terms of negotiation for Jacoby Myers. I think he stays a Raider. I think he will be the whiteout one. I would draft him as such. I don't know what else he would go this late in the season. So I think he signs. I think that nowadays there's some hard negotiations that happen. I think this has become more commonplace.
No, let's cross our fingers, man.
But she writes. 6 games out. Do you touch him in your draft? Do you want him
Nope.
at all? I feel the same way. 6 weeks is too many weeks. What if like Xavier Worthy and Mahomes, they become Mahomes and Rasheed Rice is the odd man out. I think that they're gonna have success without him. He is tempting, kind of like Jordan Addison, like when he comes back, like could he be awesome? But that's a long time to wait to like have a dead bench spot. So I'm pretty out on Rasheed Rice. I wouldn't pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an opportunity to draft him in like your late rounds and he's still on the board, that might be an appropriate gamble for some owners. Just because you're like, hey, I can stash him. If you're happy with what your draft already looks like and you feel like you can stash somebody of his caliber. I know a couple people did that with Alvin Kamara like a couple years ago. I believe he missed like the first 4 games of the one season, and he just like, hey, I'll just pick up Kamara, and then he lights it up. That's what he does. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I personally don't want to pick him, but I wouldn't be confused if anyone else did.
If he somehow were still around, like I said, round 8, 9, when you're building your bench, sure, he could be a bench stash. But I think he goes earlier. I think the name, the connection with Mahomes, that sample size we had of him doing great before he got hurt, I think he's going to go too early. But like you said, if he falls to around 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. But I don't see him falling that far. Jmar, switching gears, we're gonna go into the NFL Week 1 games. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. The first one is Cowboys and the Eagles. That should be exciting, right? That's like America's team. I
America's
think
teams.
Eagles win. Will Dallas get its act together? I don't know. That's an interesting one to start with this NFL season.
It is because everyone loves making fun of the Cowboys, right? That's like America's. They're no longer America's team, right? They're America's punching bag. And I mean, and that's purported by so many guys in the media, right? So many the ESPN analysis that just completely hate the Dallas Cowboys. So they just rip on them, and I think that just it's kind of like it becomes catchy, right? It's like a like somebody says something, and then it just becomes like the truth. You hear a lie enough times, it just becomes the truth. Um, I mean, Dallas should have a decent. I mean, they have a decent team. They have a decent. They have a. You look at that roster. There's a lot of talent on that roster. They've got a new coach. Maybe could breathe some new life into these guys. We'll see what happens, but it's Philly, dude. That offensive line, that defense. Jalen Hurts, Saquon. It's like, ay, yeah, ay. I mean, how do you bet against that? You know,
I don't think you do. I was just gonna look. Yeah, the spread right now is -7 in favor of the Eagles. I mean, I could see that going up. I think the Eagles will definitely beat the spread there. The next game, Kansas City at the Chargers, though the at is an asterisk because it's actually in Brazil. So
yeah.
this is a great matchup. Two defensively minded teams. Kansas City's defense has been good. The Chargers' defense has been great. We're going to see some running backs debut here. The Kansas City without Rasheed Rice. I mean, this could be a close game. I hope it's a close game. I really have a lot of hopes for the Chargers this year. Now that I'm an Omari and Hampton owner, especially, I want to see them win. I don't know if they win. What do you think, Jmar?
I mean, something happens when a team loses a Super Bowl, right? They either are a fire is relit within them, and they feel like they can go back to the Super Bowl and prove everyone wrong, or they just get beat up and they just kind of retreat with their tail between their legs. It's interesting time to for Kansas City, and we're all going to see what happens. Either they're going to just suck or they're going to win the Super Bowl. So um, the Chargers had a pretty uneventful exit from the playoffs last year too. They got beat up by Houston in that wild card game. I feel like you give KC the advantage in that one. I would say that KC wins that game. Um, probably not by a lot, but we'll see how the Chargers respond too. There's a lot of new talent on that team that I think they want to showcase. So we'll see what happens. The Chiefs also has a very underrated defense as well too. That's something that I think a lot of people
Hmm.
underestimate, like because Mahomes and Andy Reid get all the love in the media, but that's a pretty darn good team on the defensive side too.
Agreed. That spread is -3. I could see the Kansas City winning by more than that, but again, I have hopes that the Chargers do great. But yeah, everyone's thinking it's going to be close. After that, those are the two premier games. I'm looking at the schedule. Of course, I'm looking at your Raiders versus the Patriots. I feel like this is a great start for you guys, week one. I mean,
Well,
the New England Patriots, Drake May, what do you think?
that's an improved team, obviously. They've got some new weapons. They've got they just signed Tommy Cutlets, by the way, who got cut by the
What?
Giants. Yeah.
The Patriots signed Tommy Cutlets?
Yep.
Yep. I love that. I mean, he's a character. I was like, he's got to do something. I mean, he's a quarterback of this new influencer generation. He has his whole crew. He's got the striped suit. Like I thought Tommy DeVito was a gem on the Giants, if only just to be their mascot. But now he's in another East Coast team. That's freaking fantastic. I mean, like I don't want him to play. I want to see how Drake May does this whole year, but he might get his chance. I don't know. I think you guys win this game. I'm just gonna say it. I think the Raiders win. I think
It's
this is
a I always hope for a victory for my Raiders. Um, it should be a tough game. I mean, New England's improved. They got the new coach, and very experienced guy. He's fantastic, Mike Vrabel, and I mean, I just he's got some more weapons. We'll see what happens. We have to stop them defensively, obviously, and we'll see how our defense responds. I got us winning that game too. Go Raiders.
Mhm. Right now, the Patriots are a 3-point favorite, but again, I'd bet on the Raiders. I think that they may be able to pull that out. I'm excited to see the new quarterback, Geno Smith, do his thing there.
Ashton Genty.
Ashton Jeanty, the running back. I mean, that's a huge addition. You guys still have Brock Bowers, so again, like it's going to be close. I think it just depends on how good the coach is, Mike Vrabel, if he really can turn that team around. Everyone's going to be talking about this game. I think this game is going to be a disappointment from a fantasy perspective, but the New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to
Oh
be a
yes.
low scoring game. I think those two great defenses. And if you have anybody on those teams, I think you're going to kind of brace for impact. I don't see a lot of points being scored here. Do you, Jmar?
It's so weird because Justin Fields was a Pittsburgh Steeler last year, and Aaron Rodgers was a New York Jet last year. So there's this kind of weird cross pollination happening with that game. Um, a low scoring game. I got Pittsburgh. I'm not convinced that the Jets are going to do well this year.
I know we're on opposite sides. I think that they will score a lot of points. I think they're going to lose some games. In particular, I think the Jets win this game, but it'll be close because I do not think Aaron Rodgers is the answer anywhere. I think it's time for him to retire, quite frankly, but he's there and we'll see how he does. But I think the Jets win that one.
We should watch the games together, dude.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We're gonna watch some of these games together. Let's see. We have Ravens Bills. I mean, two Titans going on Sunday night. I mean, like, could you
Flip a
ask for a better game?
flip a coin, dude.
It could go either way. I mean,
Flip a
like,
coin. Yeah.
it's one of the highest scoring games in terms of total. Vegas has the
Yes.
total being the highest there. It's just gonna be a battle.
That
Uh,
one's that one's almost too tough to call, man. It's like it's just whoever's got the ball in the last 45 seconds of that game driving is probably gonna win that game. So
mm, I think that's a good point. Vikings, Bears.
the
My
Bears,
Bears. I
the
feel
Bears.
that the Bears have a really good chance of making a statement game on Monday Night Football. The NFL obviously thinks so. Why put them in primetime Monday night? Vikings,
Mm.
Bears, there's a lot on the line here. This could be the brand new Bears, or it could be the same old disappointment. I'm hoping I see awesome things here. I'm already invested in a few players here. I have DeAndre Swift. I have Colston Loveland. I also have Romeo Dobbs on my bench. So I will be obviously watching this game for many reasons. Besides just being a fan, I have fantasy investment here, and that could be another game we could watch together, Jmar, and
Yeah, that'd be great.
talk about how that goes.
I mean, this is a tough game too because there's so many question marks on both sides of that ball. JJ McCarthy, what's he gonna do? Nobody knows. I mean, we'll see how he responds to being in the driver's seat. We'll see if this young man's got the same composure that he had when he was in Michigan, and we'll see if he's able to bounce back from that injury, right? Um,
Mhm.
I mean, look, there's so much preseason hype on the Bears, probably more so than any other team, I think, right?
Mhm.
Everyone is expecting them to improve. They've got the brand new head coach who was the OC of the Lions, and that was a offensive juggernaut, and they've got all these weapons on offense. Oh, it's gonna be tough, man. The Bears started off 2024, I believe, like with a 4-2 record, if memory serves correct, right?
Mhm. Yeah, they
And
did.
and then they ended up like 6-12 or whatever, 6-11 or whatever.
Yes. They
Um,
break my heart, Jmar. It's
I know,
just
I can only imagine, man. I don't know if I had to pick. You're asking me who I'm picking, and if you're asking me who I'm picking, I'm gonna say I'm picking the Vikings, man. Sorry, buddy.
no.
I'm
A
not
a
saying.
rookie untested quarterback. I mean, I know I have
Ooh,
Justin Jefferson. I want him to score a touchdown or two, maybe, but I always say this, I'd rather the Bears win than for me to win my fantasy game. Like I would rather have that
yeah.
happen.
Talk about another underrated defense. The Minnesota Vikings also have a pretty
Hmm.
underrated, awesome defense as well too.
I think there's going to be a lot of quarterback mistakes in that game. I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure for the Bears quarterback. I think it's a true test for both of them, JJ McCarthy as well. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot to prove on Monday Night Football. Who's going to rise and be the star of that draft class, right? Jaden Daniels already obviously miles ahead than anybody else in his class. But like I will be watching and sweating that game out for so many reasons, right? Like I'll be happy when Justin Jefferson gets a touchdown, but I'll also be sad that the Bears are losing. But hopefully then DeAndre Swift runs it in for a touchdown. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, like I don't know. I mean, that's it. It'll be interesting if the Bears are actually good this year. It'd be cool. But I've been saying that since they drafted Jefferson. I've been saying that since they drafted Justin Fields. So like I just don't know. I can't have any hopes, Jmar. I just can't.
I know it.
Caleb Williams, good luck. I want you to kill it,
Well,
but
I'm sure he'll be on the hot seat if he doesn't perform well this year.
people are already like anytime he makes a mistake, if he gets sacked, I mean, people are already kind of done. They want to see him perform. So I don't envy the position, but it should be a great game. Well, thanks everyone for joining our second episode ever. I have a team. Jmar is going to draft his team this weekend. I'm excited for you, Jmar, to hear. Do not make the mistakes I made. Please read up on your injury list. Do not draft Joe Mixon at all. Leave him alone. But you can recover. I'm excited for you, man. I hope you win the championship this year. Partly inspired by our podcast. I hope. I can't wait to hear who you drafted.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, man. Episode 3 is going to be a banger.
100%. Well, thanks everyone for listening. If you haven't already, please follow us on Amazon Music or Apple Podcasts or on Spotify and let us know what you think. Reach out to us on socials through Facebook or Instagram and give us any feedback you want. We're still so very, very young, but thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time on Color Commentary.